Good morning guys, we are in Edinburgh on a bright beautiful summer's day and we are going to take you now on a walking tour of Harry Potter. This is where Harry Potter was born. So I'm Pritha, as you can see, no prize for guessing which house I'm in, and I've got my Potter bling on. If only I can show you, see? In fact, fun fact, the train from London to Edinburgh leaves from King's Cross Station, platform 9 3/4. So, not quite.
That's stretching it.
But it does leave from King's Cross Station. Vikram is holding the camera at the minute. We did this tour yesterday, in fact, with a group called City Explorers. They conduct free walking tours on Harry Potter twice in a day in English language. I say it's free because there's really no obligation for you to pay anything, but they are full-time guides. This is how they earn their living, and it's just nice if you pay whatever you think is worth it at the end of the tour, and it lasts for 90 minutes total. Their tours begin from this site, in fact, on the Royal Mile, 154 High Street, in front of a whiskey bar called Royal McGregor.
The Royal McGregor.
The Royal McGregor. So let's begin. Let's take you to the first location. Let's start with introducing J.K. Rowling, though I'm sure people who are watching this video do not need any introduction for the author of Harry Potter.
So what is this place that we are headed to?
So we are headed towards the Royal Exchange. The real Mary King's Close is right next to it. So essentially, J.K. Rowling is not Scottish, she's English, but she spent a significant part of her adult life in Scotland, in Edinburgh. In fact, this is where she wrote many chapters, I think almost all the chapters of all her books, and she's a very well-loved public figure of Scotland, especially because of her contribution towards charities. I knew that she is charitable, but I never really realized that she has in fact spent most of her wealth, and at some point she was one of the wealthiest people in the world.
Yeah, the guide said that she's one of the few people who couldn't remain a billionaire because she's given away so much money.
Exactly, that is saying something. She still is very rich, but the fact that she gave away almost all of her wealth to charity is commendable. So here there is a little walk of fame like they have in Hollywood, and you will find J.K. Rowling's hand impression over here.
Wow. So this was in 2008.
This was in 2008.
And it's got lots of other famous personalities as well. Got Sir Chris Hoy, Olympic gold medalist, and I can see Ian Rankling, who is another famous author associated with the city of Edinburgh.
Speaking of 2008, I remember in 2007 Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix was released. Vikram, do you have any recollection of the day when it was released?
I remember that you made me stay up all night and we had to camp outside the store to get hold of the first copy,
Yes,
right?
Yes, those were the days. Right opposite this close, we have got a tower called the Mercat Tower, and on the top is I don't know if you can make out because the sun is right behind it, but that's a statue of a unicorn, which is not exceptional except for the fact that a unicorn happens to be the national animal of Scotland. I mean, I can't figure out how a totally fictional animal, a fictional being can be the national
It's a
animal.
mythological beast, right? It's a mythological creature.
But it's fictional. I mean,
It's not fictional,
it
it's
doesn't
mythological.
exist. Okay,
It's like a flying horse.
like a flying horse. So the reason why this is included in the tour is because anyone who has read the Harry Potter, even if you have read the first part, you know that a unicorn is mentioned in the book. In fact, Voldemort used to survive drinking the blood of this beautiful creature. But also there are many other mythical features in Scottish folklore which are mentioned in various Harry Potter books. The guide did mention that Dobby or the house elves, the whole idea was derived from folklore from Anglo-Scottish border up in northern England. Just before you reach Scotland, there's an area where they talk about mythical elf-like creatures.
And they're actually called Dobby.
No, I checked that and they're apparently called hobs.
Hobs.
And yes, they're called hobs and they help with the housework, but if they get annoyed, they can be quite a
Nasty.
nuisance. Yes. And in order to get rid of them, you just have to give an item of used clothing and then you'll be free from them. So no prize for guessing which character was inspired by that story.
Sure.
Let's head to the next part.
So, as you can see behind me, that beautiful structure. It's the Balmoral Hotel, and it's one of the very luxurious 5-star hotels here in Edinburgh, and it's probably one of the priciest ones here. And it's got a very close association with Harry Potter as well, with J.K. Rowling. Her own place in Edinburgh was undergoing construction, and it was incredibly busy, so she wanted to have a little bit of privacy in order to finish her final novel, the last part of Harry Potter. I think the Deathly Hallows, right?
Yeah.
Harry Potter and Deathly Hallows. So she went out and rented a room there in Balmoral. It's actually named J.K. Rowling's Suite now, and she rented it out for 4 months, where she wrote it. She used it as her office space, and she finished her novel. And after finishing her novel, she actually inscribed on a bust inside the room. I think it was a bust of Hermes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
A bust of Hermes, where she inscribed that J.K. Rowling stayed here and finished the last Harry Potter novel.
Yeah, something of that sort.
And it's still there in that room.
If you have enough money in your kitty to pay £1,000 for one night stay,
You can
then
always
yeah,
put
you
up
can
there.
you can always put up in the same room where the last chapters of Harry Potter were written.
Maybe we can try that next time we again.
Next time, yes, I need to take another job for that.
Let's do that.
let's. So we are here in front of the Elephant Cafe. Elephant House. It's a cafe and it's one of the pilgrimage sites for Harry Potter fans in Edinburgh. It's because they claim to be the birthplace of Harry Potter, as you can see at the top. The reason being that when J.K. Rowling was writing her first book, she did visit this cafe quite often. She used it as a sort of office space, and she wrote a few chapters of that book sitting in this cafe. Harry Potter fans who have visited this cafe have taken things a little bit too far, and in the toilet, everywhere, every square inch of the toilet, the floor, the ceiling, the walls definitely, is filled with writings from Harry Potter fans. It could be fan fiction, random things, or notes to J.K. Rowling, or love letters to the characters, but it's just filled. I really need to go inside and have a look at it myself. We have been to Edinburgh before, and I've been to this place, but it always has been so busy that I've never really got a chance to go inside. I'm going to try my luck again today. I know with the coronavirus things, there are rules and restrictions in place, so no establishment can let more than a fixed number of people inside. But there are less tourists around now also. So
If we don't get a spot, we can just pay the £1 and visit the toilet.
yes, so it seems that you can use the toilet facilities only, but you need to pay £1, and that goes to charity. So that would be a £1 well spent. So let's just see if we can meet.
Please wait.
It says please wait to be seated. So, I mean, to be fair, there does seem to be lots of vacant. Hi. Your name and number, right? Take a PR and number. Thank you.
We are in.
Are you excited, Pritha?
I'm very excited, and as you could see, before I entered, he took down my name and my contact information, and essentially that's a UK government rule. It is to facilitate track and trace of coronavirus if required. So I don't know if this was the table where J.K. Rowling used to sit, but I'll just pretend that it was. And I think, Vikram, I'm going to take my laptop out and start working on this video, just in case this place also is lucky for me and I finally go viral for the right reasons.
It's got quite. Yeah, I agree. Maybe you can try your luck. Start typing out a novel, and maybe you'll get famous.
Yeah, it's a little too late for novel. I already have a YouTube channel. I don't want to concentrate on that. Just to let you know that this was not the only cafe where J.K. Rowling used to sit and write. She frequented many other cafes of Edinburgh, one of them being the cafe that belonged to her brother-in-law. In fact, when she, as a single mom, she separated from her then partner and moved over to Edinburgh to be closer to her sister and her family. And she really didn't have much going on for her at that time. She was kindly supported by her sister's family, and her brother-in-law let her use his cafe as sort of a writing area. For some reason, it didn't quite end up being as celebrated as the Elephant House. I'm not sure why, but there is a plaque that mentions that the early few chapters of Harry Potter were in fact written there. And just a quick recommendation from us, we had lunch at the restaurant that you can see right across the street, Leather Bus Bar. The black door, the cellar door,
Okay.
that's the one.
And you reckon that's good?
What do you think? You were with me, weren't you?
I loved it, but I had
Yes.
different food from yours, right? So I loved the vegetarian and the vegan options that they had. Really amazing steak made of cauliflowers. I've never had anything like that before, and they have a good assortment of craft beers as well.
Yes. Let's head over to the next Harry Potter place, and that's a big place, I promise you. Vikram, just a second, whilst we are here. So this has got nothing to do with Harry Potter, but this is where Bobby was buried. This is Bobby's tombstone. Greyfriars Bobby died 14th January 1872, aged 16 years. Let his loyalties, devotion be a lesson to us all.
That's so cute. They have all collected branches.
I know. Do you think there's a reason why so many people have brought their dogs over here? Maybe they all want their dogs to learn a thing or two from Bobby.
Maybe they know that dogs are in general loyal creatures and loyal friends, and they love dogs.
Yeah.
And they just want to come here to pay homage to Bobby.
Yes.
Okay.
Anyway, Vikram, do you want to tell them more about this Kirkyard's association with Harry Potter?
So, just behind the courtyard, you can see that there's an imposing gate, and that's actually a school compound, right? So it's the George Heriot School for Orphans. No,
It used to be, when it started, it was a school for orphans. Now it's a private school with a hefty annual fee.
Yeah.
And I think
they still have
J.K.
scholarships
Rowling's,
for.
yes, they still have
orphans.
scholarships for orphans though, and J.K. Rowling's children also studied here for a
Right.
few years.
And the interesting bit is, it does look a bit like Hogwarts, and apparently J.K. Rowling was inspired by the school and the concept to work on the Hogwarts idea. As you can see up there, it's got 4 turrets, and each of the turrets, they stand for
There are 4
a
houses,
house. There are
yes.
4 houses.
And once a year, the 4 houses compete with each other for a house cup. Sounds familiar?
It does.
Okay, so who do we have here? Someone with a very familiar surname was buried in this churchyard. I'm
William
not sure, I'm not
McGonagall.
tall enough. Can you read the
Yes.
name?
It says William McGonagall, poet and tragedian. So William McGonagall has the dubious distinction, as per our guide, of being the worst poet in the history of English literature. Right? And he used to be a weaver, but then he had a dream in 18
In some year, 1800 something.
1852. In 1852, he had a dream where God came to him and told him that he was to be a poet. So he started writing poetry. He gave up weaving and started writing poetry. He published his own poems, but they were apparently hideous poems, like very bad quality poems. So he never got famous as a poet.
It seems that somewhere in the book it's mentioned that Professor McGonagall is in fact a descendant of William McGonagall.
Okay.
I mean, the whole thing is fictional, obviously. There's no reality about Harry Potter. But somewhere along the line, J.K. Rowling has married fact with fiction. But according to his dream, he was destined to be a famous poet. And even though he never really gained fame for his own compositions, for reasons other than his creative talents, he did end up getting quite famous, won't you say? I mean, if people are traveling thousands of miles to have a look at his grave, don't you think that makes him famous?
It does. So we have an unmarked tombstone here, and the rumor has it that this belonged to a guy named Sirius Black, and the plate was stolen by one of the fans after it was put up. But we don't know for sure, and there is no documented text proving this.
Yeah. In fact, there's also a street in Edinburgh called Potter Row. I'm not sure, no one has mentioned, and I have not seen that reference anywhere, but I just wonder if that was the inspiration behind naming the central character of the book.
Do you want to come to the big reveal?
Yes, please. And this indeed is a big reveal, as is evidenced by the walkway constructed, because thousands of people descend at this site every year, because this is the tomb of
Thomas Riddle.
he who once had a name. Obviously, the spelling of Riddle is different, but it is said that this guy influenced J.K. Rowling to name Voldemort's younger version as Thomas Riddle. As I said, thousands of people come here every year. They leave wreaths and cards and all sorts of things. I don't know why one would want to leave
And
cards
it's
and
very-
flowers for Voldemort.
No, it's very weird. Not just flowers, they also leave behind death threats and they write letters.
Yes, death
It's
threats.
very weird that
And then some people have had also spat at this
Exactly.
tombstone, which is not nice, because this man, bless
poor
him,
Tom Riddle
poor
had no
Tom Riddle,
link.
yes, he died in 1806. He has no idea who Harry Potter is and
Yeah.
what mistake he has done in his life to deserve all the hatred. Alright guys, so this is the final stop of our tour today. Victoria Street, one of the iconic areas of Edinburgh. Obviously you can understand why. It's so pretty with charming shops, and the reason why this is included in the Harry Potter tour is because it is said that this inspired Diagon Alley of the book. Now, I have also been to a Harry Potter tour in London, and there in fact is a street in London which is claimed to be the inspiration behind Diagon Alley. So I don't really know which is correct. I haven't asked J.K. Rowling myself, and to be honest, I don't think she has truthfully answered it either. But
It does look like diagonally in the street, right? It's diagonal, it's curving away,
yeah,
and it's got lovely shops, colorful shops, and
it also has got a lot of magic themed shops, including a few Potter ones. So we're going to visit one now. We invite you to come in here with us. But before we step inside, just a quick thing. We obviously have a YouTube channel, and it would really mean a lot to us if you subscribe. Also, I'm going to soon come up with a video of Harry Potter walking tour in London, and if you press a notification bell, then you will be intimated as soon as it is published. So,
intimated, you mean?
Intimated. I do not mean to intimidate you.
You intimidate me quite a lot.
Exactly. Come in with us to experience some more magic, and we really, really hope to see you in the subscriber list. Alohamora. Which Harry Potter character do you think I am?
Yeah, it's got the holder there, look.
Definitely not Dobby.
Holder into what place?
I think you're like
So look at animal face.
Dumbledore,
I'm like Dumbledore.
the wise old guy.
I think I'm like Hermione. I know all the answers. I have to be the first one to answer them. I always have to be right.
So you're Hermione.
Correct others.
That's true. And you're
Smarter.
What are you getting?
I'm getting a Slytherin scarf for you.
You're getting a what?
A Slytherin scarf. I mean, it's only fair. I have got.
Okay. Pritha, which wand do you think is for me? Floyd de la Cure? She was really good looking, wasn't she? Or maybe this.
I think this. I mean,
Because I'm Slytherin.
Yeah, but you're not that.
That's Voldemort's.
I think Draco Malfoy. I think Malfoy was a good boy, but he just happened to.
I actually like Snape.
Yeah, I think Snape. Yeah, you can be Snape. Harry Potter has given me a lot of joy in my life. I mean, only yesterday I was telling Vikram that when my brother was quite young, he also used to enjoy reading Harry Potter. Whenever new books came up for release, I used to lie to him because I wanted to be the first one to read the book. We had some sort of competition going on to see who gets to read the book first. I used to lie to him and give him a wrong date for publications. For example, if it was to be released on the 25th of a month, I tell him, oh, it's going to come out on the 26th. And on the 25th, I'll rush to the store, buy the book, spend all day and all night reading it, finishing it, and next day I'll hand it over to him proudly. And he used to get so annoyed at me.
Poor guy. He always basically never got to read any Harry Potter book on the day of its release, right?
Because his
He always
sister-
got a hand-me-down from you.
And by the time he was old enough to read the news and understand what's going on, he outgrew Harry Potter, unfortunately.
Yesterday, our guide mentioned this as well, that before the Harry Potter franchise,
Yeah.
before the books were published, children's novels were really not generating a lot of interest,
True.
right?
True.
And most children were going towards PlayStations and moving away from reading books. And ever since the Harry Potter phenomenon, I think a lot of children, they have gone back to reading books.
True.
And it's also created so much of new genres and new kinds
Fantasy
of fantasy
fiction.
genres, fantasy fiction, and revolving around children's literature. So it's amazing.
So we sincerely hope that you enjoyed this, and please do subscribe to our channel. I promise to come up with a London walking tour of Harry Potter very, very soon.
Please like and subscribe.
Bye. Where's my flu powder?